Hi everyone, welcome to ENC 3416 or Digital Writing. I'm Dr. Ashley Clayson and I've been teaching at UWF for 2.5 years now. I've taught digital writing before and my research interests include digital writing, e-portfolios, and writing and technology, so this is one of my favorite classes to teach. This class is themed around the concept of online identity. We'll be working with concepts around online identity throughout the semester, and the media projects we create, 2 videos and a website, will focus around those concepts as well. For the first few weeks of the semester, we'll be learning and practicing these concepts, and then in the last 2/3 of the course will be all about project work, working on drafts and workshopping each other's projects. Essentially, in weeks 1 through 5, we do a lot of reading and video watching and responding to that reading and video watching. Then in weeks 6 through 10, we work on 2 videos at once. Yes, you heard that right, working on 2 projects at the same time, so be careful how you budget your time. And then in weeks 11 through 15, we work on a portfolio website into which you'll put your videos and any other work that you want to showcase as well. And that's the class in a nutshell. In this class, our learning will center around 3 core principles. The first principle is that digital writing, like all writing, is rhetorical. What does that mean? Well, you'll learn more about that in the coming weeks, but in short, it just means that no writing is neutral. As the readings that we'll be engaging with put it, language is not a window through which we see an author's meaning and intent. That's just not how language works, even though that's a really common metaphor used to describe writing. The second principle driving this class is that writing is hard, and digital writing is really hard, especially if you've never done it. But you can get better at it. Hopefully you believe this at least a little bit already, or you probably wouldn't be in this class and I wouldn't have a job. This semester, we'll use a few main strategies to get better at writing. First, for every major assignment, you'll have at least 1 full draft, more likely 2, and you'll get feedback on it from me and your fellow digital writers. Second, I have several small assignments designed to help you practice the technical skills required for this class, the video editing exercises. These are something new I'm trying out this semester, so please, if something is confusing with those, don't hesitate to reach out. The third principle driving our class is something called metacognition, or thinking about thinking. Essentially, a lot of smart people have said that a really core part of the learning process is being sort of meta about what it is that you're learning. This is where the reflections in this class come in. They are not a small part of this class. They are a big part of this class. In fact, you will be writing drafts of your reflections. The reflections ask you to justify the choices you make in your assignments and to link them to the course concepts. The reflections are really where I get to see if you're actually digesting the course content in a way that's producing real learning. So I strongly suggest you put as much thought and effort into the reflections as you do the actual media projects. These principles will drive everything we do in this class, from the things we read to the assignments we work on. Before you dive into the course though, here's a tip on how to do well. If you can, start your work early. As my PhD advisor used to say, writing always takes longer than it takes, and that's especially true with digital writing. Though I try not to overload you in a single week, most weeks have multiple assignments due in a given week. In fact, the first 2 major assignments, as I mentioned before, have the exact same deadline schedule. You're doing 2 projects at once. Additionally, the readings and videos for this class are long and difficult often, so you'll need to have sufficient time to invest in them. You won't just be reading and watching, but rereading and rewatching as well. And finally, if you've never worked with a particular technology before, you will inevitably need to spend a little bit of extra time learning how to do things with it. In other words, you need to devote sufficient time to this class in order to succeed. But if you do, I can help you become a better digital writer. As you start the class, you'll note that almost all class content is available right away. The only things that may not be available are my video recaps of the reading responses. That's because I want you to engage with the material first before I say, yeah, you basically got the gist, or no, you might want to re-engage with the material. Each reading response recap video, say that 10 times fast, will typically be available once the deadline for the reading response has passed. One quick note before I go. In case you haven't read my bio yet, I don't live in the US. I live in Luxembourg, a tiny European country in between France, Germany, and Belgium. Since this is an online class, that doesn't present too much of a problem, except that we're most likely working with a massive time difference, unless of course you live somewhere else in Europe or in Africa. I'm 7 hours ahead of US Central Time, though daylight savings time might mess with us a little bit in the middle of the semester. This means that there will probably be at least a day of turnaround time before I answer your emails, unless you happen to email me right when you wake up and I happen to catch it at the end of my workday. I will attempt to respond to your emails promptly, but please do keep this in mind when trying to contact me. See the communications policy video for a bit more info here. Actually, one last thing before I go. Read the syllabus. That's something you should normally do for any class, but it's especially true for this class because I've hidden a secret assignment in there, which means that you'll have to read it in order to submit the assignment, and then I'll know whether or not you've read the syllabus. The syllabus assignment is a pass-fail assignment, so be sure not to miss it. The syllabus is kind of important. All right, that's it for now. See you soon.